The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. And I'm looking for the button to share my screen. Not exactly sure where that is. And of course, it doesn't really matter as long as you're here with us.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And let's see. Now, I got that copied. Do that. Click here, click there. Voice channels, Tiger Chat, video channels. Where are those at? I don't see it. Maybe they'll guys will figure it out. But I've had this every once in a while, and it seems like maybe you just have to close it and come back. You think that's it? I don't know. Anyway, I don't see any button to share my screen. And it's done this before. I wonder if I just exit out of this and kill it. Say, can I do that? And try to run it yet again. If it comes back up, maybe it'll do something different. Okay. Okay. I don't see it. Not exactly sure what's going on. But my share screen is missing. 877-927-6648 as we come into a rather quiet Friday. I suspect, or let me put it this way, Wyckoff-style traders suspect that we might have some kind of low coming in maybe on Tuesday. Maybe it's just a bounce for fun buying. Maybe it's a little bit more. Maybe it's a little bit less. Not really surprised to see a market that was flat. Yesterday in the newsletter, and I think even on the show, I said that the S&P really kind of auguring into about 3,800 for the close today. So I didn't see a lot of reason to put a lot of money at risk. But we shall see. Trying to think what else is going on. Oh, well, let's take a look at the volume here. We had about in the high 12 million shares yesterday. We're doing about 7 billion shares, and that's with about an hour and 10 minutes left. And see what else is here. And, yeah, I'm going to call it just a hair under 7 billion shares. So there's not much go. Okay. Let's do that. I've got a suggestion here to text somebody to find my button. So we'll do it live on air. See. We'll even do this. We'll hit that. Hey, Jacob, I can't find the share screen button in Discord. Where's it at? Anyway, hopefully they'll get it back. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and, of course, give me a call at 877-927-6648. But we'll ask others. Anyway, let's do a little history, and that way we'll go into the break, and maybe by then we can figure out how and where this little share screen button is hiding. But we'll do a little history.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1948, originally designed to create improvements to electromechanical relays and vacuum tubes in the telephone switching equipment sector, Bell Labs holds a press conference in New York to publicly demonstrate the first point contact transistor. And, of course, this had actually been around since 1926, and probably if there wasn't a Second World War would have gotten a lot more effort and came out a few years ago. Transistor represents a significant advance in technology. As it was developed over the next few years, it will become the successor to the vacuum tube and the primary method of controlling electronic circuitry at the time. The use of transistors allowed the development of the integrated circuit and microchips, which kickstarted the rapid advance of electronic and computerized technology over the next 60 years. Every industry that utilizes technology, from communications to computers to space travel to video to games and media, owes a great deal to the development of the original transistor. And of course, they kind of made it out of a rock in 1926. Even this real kind of proof of concept in 1948 didn't make it to mass production until 1956. That was the first real device that came out with a handful of small handheld radios and the start of some digital kind of computer equipment, mostly for the military. But I give this as an example, one of many, when people see a lot of ideas about how the technology, you hear about it, and you just think it's going to be out in a year or two, and it's 10 years later. I really have to think about applying this to battery technology. Very interesting YouTube video a few days back about the challenges of batteries and EV cars and how much lithium there is and how the power actually comes from coal, which is probably worse than the gasoline, and then a lot of other stuff. Anyway, I wanted to make a comment, so I put one on there about just recycling batteries. And I get this response, which is, okay, give me some examples. Give me where your reference is from. And you know what? The folks on that YouTube channel, or maybe somewhere else, or maybe at YouTube, decides every time I put it back up there, they delete it. So I give evidence, and these are national newspapers that did a lot of articles on over the last year and a half about recycling and lithium-ion batteries or other batteries. And you just wonder what you can believe and what you can't, especially if someone comes up with evidence and tries to ignore it. Man, I've never heard of that before. Anyway, my whole point really is this, that we hear a lot about people. For the last 10 years, I've heard about batteries just being around the corner that will double the range and drop the weight in half. And we haven't seen one thing. Lithium-ion batteries have gotten about 6% better. And I think the big thing to think about in some technologies like chemistry is it moves incredibly slow. We're used to transistors doubling in speed and power every 18 months from Moore's Law. The rest of the world just doesn't really work that way. We'll be back in a minute.
Of booming inflation, where your purchasing power is eroded, there's no better place to protect your hard-earned money than in gold. Vista Gold's flagship asset is the Mount Todd Gold Project in the Northern Territory of Australia. This is Australia's largest undeveloped gold project. We are talking a world-class gold project in a Tier 1 mining district. This is a large-scale, low-cost project with significant existing infrastructure in a politically safe and friendly mining jurisdiction. Vista Gold just completed the Mount Todd feasibility study, which resulted in a 7 million ounce gold reserve and a 16-year mine life. All of this, combined with the approvals of all major operational as well as environmental permits. This distinguishes Mount Todd as an attractive, de-risk partner, ready development stage gold project. Vista Gold trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol VGZ.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, and I'm going to have a stern word for the folks at Discord on why sharing your screen is hidden under voice. But, there's no reason why anybody would confuse that, is it? 877-927-6648. And what else do we have here? Oh, anyway. Somebody emailed me during the break, and I'm going to say, and somebody actually said something in here about knowing everything and trusting the science. And see if I can find it here. No, then we're going to get into some charts. There's a book that's kind of interesting because everybody always says that they know stuff. Here it is, Samuel Abelson, and fairly interesting. The Half-Life of Facts. Everything we know has an expiration date. And a great read if you get it, or you can listen to it. But he goes through all the stuff that scientists and economists and politicians and everything have said. And some of this stuff quite recently, and just how there is kind of a half-life. This goes back to, I think, 1950s or 60s, when they found out that the people that had gone to engineering school in the 30s, that a third of everything that they learned was wrong by the 1960s. And that's kind of continued on. We learn, and a lot of people kind of get stuck in positions, but probably the one I like the best is they go and get, I think this is in like 2000, he got a list of all the animals that were supposedly extinct, and a third of them they'd actually found again. So they weren't extinct. So everybody's always thinking they know a lot. Yeah, the problem is that what you know has an expiration date on it. But if you want to learn to question everyone, All I can remember in the 60s was question authority. And now, don't question authority. I guess if you live long enough, everything you know will be proven wrong. Anyway, just a thought there. Given the time to refuel a hydrogen fuel cell is much faster than an electric vehicle to travel the same range, and hydrogen vehicles are much cleaner, water vapor emission. How come hydrogen vehicles are not being produced at a greater rate? How much electricity does it take to produce the chemical reaction in hydrogen vehicles? Well, everything's a trade-off. This is kind of a big subject, and partly part of this video I was going to comment on. The positive on fuel cell vehicles is they carry around hydrogen, which is fairly light. I mean, the battery packs on a Tesla or on a Volt, I think on a Volt, they're 1,700 pounds. On the Tesla, I think they're 2,000 pounds. And that's, when these things are dead, you're still carrying around 2,000 pounds worth of batteries. Where hydrogen, and you fill it up, is about 13 pounds on the Mira, which is the Toyota hydrogen-powered car. You can also, right now, those are getting somewhere around 650 miles of travel on it. Now, a lot of people say, well, it takes twice as much power to actually break apart water into hydrogen and oxygen and put it in the car. So therefore, the economies of it are fairly weak. Well, it's not a zero-sum game. If you can repair or replace 2,000 pounds with 13 pounds, suddenly not hauling around 2,000 pounds all the time can get you a lot more. And so the Mira does do it. One of the big thing on this YouTube video was they were pushing that it took about 5 minutes to refill a hydrogen-powered car, and it took on an average 45 minutes to charge up an electric vehicle at these charging stations. So his theory was, let's say tomorrow we replace every gas station with a charging station. Well, since it takes 10 times longer almost to charge up an EV to full, you'd have to have 10 times as many gas stations or 10 times as many pumps. And that is always the rub, right? You have to really kind of look at all the different things that have to go into making a new infrastructure. The infrastructure wouldn't be that much different for hydrogen. It depends on whether you make the hydrogen there locally. You could transport it as a liquid, but of course that's more expensive to do. But there's a lot of people in some areas of the country that are on hydrogen power, and what they've done is just taken the natural gas pipes and pump hydrogen through it. One of the problems with the original hydrogen vehicles 10 years ago were that it would slowly, because the hydrogen is the smallest element out there, the smallest atom, it would leak out through the seals. So in the last 10 years, a lot of development has been around making seals that wouldn't have just your atoms kind of leak out. And they have some fairly good metallic seals. You can only use them once, but they've kind of gotten past that. And lastly, how do you haul enough hydrogen around with you? And there are some ideas on how to do that. You can make kind of a sponge out of metal, and then through high pressure, put the hydrogen into that metal and actually have it about 10 times more dense than like a scuba tank at 3,000 pounds. And when you want it out, you kind of have to heat it up. So right now, heating it up is a little bit counterproductive. Of course, you have to use power to do that. But they've gotten it down to where I think it's about 170 degrees from about 450 degrees on these batteries that are basically big sponges made out of a variety of metals. But it seems counterintuitive that you could put a bunch of metal in something and actually hold more hydrogen than you could if you just left the area empty. But you could certainly do that. Mercedes has a pilot program where they're driving a semi coast to coast with hydrogen power in a big electric vehicle, but that's liquid hydrogen, and they've got big thermal tanks where the normal diesel goes in these things. But it's going to take some time, and it's probably all the above. But time to scan out. We're going to get back to charts as soon as we come back.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN has just launched their new trading room, the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. And now they are expanding their reach with the Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. In the Tiger's Den, you can look over the shoulders of Tom O'Brien and the other TFNN hosts while they analyze charts during their live Tiger TV programs, and join an interactive trading community with hundreds of members exchanging ideas. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day, even at night and on the weekends. The Tiger's Den at Discord is accessible on mobile or tablets as well, so it's always at your reach. To sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And Pete brings up that Toyota did offer on the last of the 2001 models 3 years of free hydrogen. But really that's only available, I think, in California. But the reason was that they went from the car having a 400-mile range to one having 650, and they wanted to get those vehicles off the showroom floors of California. And so they pushed that. But the new ones have a range of a single tank of 650 miles, kind of at the very high end, but that's it. Anyway, they do make many hydrogen home plants and stuff. The whole thing is trying to get that all as efficient as possible, but there's a lot of trade-offs, but we'll be back. Anyway, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. The first question of the day comes in about Amazon. And what do you have? Well, don't have a lot. You have the problem I dislike about stocks that either hang at the highs or hang at the lows is they generally eventually go through. So you had a 132 million share low on Amazon, gets hit with 100 million shares, again with 100 million shares, and yesterday again with about 100 million shares. I would have liked to seen one of these things be like 70 million shares. Now maybe it goes back higher, but the risk is fairly high if you keep hammering at lows that you're going to break them. The exact same thing happens at highs, and that in fact, I just sent a update out on the Tech Insider about one that is hanging around the highs. If they hang around there for long enough, eventually they're going to break through. They don't hang up there for forever and then eventually fail. Generally, if you're up there and someone's trying to distribute the stock, they fail fairly quickly. They don't just hang up there. They may be up there with no volume for a little while, but you'll see the no volume. But if volume kind of remains the same and you're back up at the highs with about the same kind of volume. So I'm not a big fan out here of jumping on Amazon right now. I don't see any big reasons to do it. I do have, though, a lot of other stocks that are looking to bottom, and we're going to go through those now if people have that. Somebody bringing up short squeezes. A lot of people don't really understand what happens when you cover a short. When you add a short, it is like adding more outstanding shares to the market. When you cover a short position, it's like shrinking the outstanding shares. So if you have a stock that had 100,000 shares and 10% of it ends up being shorted, it's the same thing as having a 110,000 shares out there. And when you start covering those shares, suddenly it's the accordion going the opposite way. So there's more than just people being on the wrong side of being short. You actually do have the effect of changing the float in the stock as it's happening. So in a short squeeze, that's why they tend to be so volatile on the upside, because you really are contracting. When you're expanding, it doesn't seem to be near as bad, but it does hurt, but it doesn't seem to be as vicious as on the way up on a short squeeze. Yeah, you never know. Anyway, talking about stocks with high volume lows, as I said, I'm kind of starting to see a lot of these stocks kind of beat out lows on lighter volume. March 8th on American Airlines. The news horrific today. 88 million shares back on that March 8th low. You come into the June 17th low with 56 million shares. Yesterday, you come into a 37 million shares. A little bit of bounce out here on light volume, but certainly volume is not expanding at these lows. First, I'm looking at gold, and yeah, I know we got a couple of emails about that I will get to. You did kind of have the dip out here, and that may be it. The reason why, like I said, is a lot of charts. You didn't quite get down to where I was thinking. Now maybe you still get down there next week. I was hoping for 1775-ish on this, but what is it? It's basically flat on the day. You got down to 1800, right? Was looking for a little bit more, but there are a lot of these out here on light volume, so I certainly wouldn't be short. First Majestic, last tested low on May 12th. $7.24, 14 million shares. Got into it with 6 million shares. And I don't know if I see, carry the one to 8 million less shares. Well, that's probably a pretty good indication so far. Now, the day isn't over. We only have about 4.6 million shares. But the best they could get was that 6 million shares from yesterday. We're a little lower today, a little bit of a reversal candle. So doesn't look as bad as a lot of people would think. Other stocks out here. Credit Corp, BAP, kind of interesting. 118.81 is the May 12th low with 750,000 shares. Got into it with a little less than half of that yesterday. Always a good indication. And today, even a lighter volume, but not doing much in that way. BHR, back into the low of December 2nd of 2021. That had 880,000 shares. Got into it yesterday with 540,000 shares. Again, a lot of these are all over the map except the metals, the precious metals. Brookdale Senior Living, like we're not all getting older. This one had about, I'm trying to remember out here. Talking about hanging at highs. Bellis Health, BLU. Not a good sign. You had 112 million shares back on December 13th, 2021. Got into it a couple of days ago with 1.2 million shares. I'd watch out. To other stocks out here. Citigroup, if you're looking for something that's come back to support, this gapped up with a ginormous, that's a technical term, bunch of volume, 56 million, almost 57 million shares back on that gap, which was what? November 9th of 2020. You're all the way back there now. Not bad, 36 million shares yesterday. About 10 million shares today. So probably a little closer to fair value than you were at 78.50. Okay. Okay. Colgate Palmolive. This is coming back to the highs. But again, fairly light volume. You had 6 million shares back on April 22nd. Maybe a sign that we're back up here to the highs while we're testing lows on a lighter volume. 6.14 million shares on that 83.39 high of April 22nd. You're up today on 1.8 million shares, so about a third of the volume. Even the dogs out here have some issues with the volume. Coinbase Global, 58 million shares on May 12th, 29 million shares on June 13th, 13 million shares yesterday. I think you're running out of sellers. These guys look like they're taking the share certificates and burying them out behind the barn. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
As we return, I got some more emails out here. Okay, is Apple and an ABC up? I don't think so. I mean, in a short one, you could be, but I would imagine with what's going on with this one, that it's probably just a retest at the top, and that's 151.74 for Apple. You come back on a lighter volume. Today's not a whole bunch, but I think there are better, faster horses out there if I'm right with some kind of bottom on Tuesday. But again, I'm not going home long or short today, either one, although people haranguing me about the end of the world makes me think like I probably should be. I've never seen a bunch of more dour folks emailing me, and generally they're wrong for a long time. And then they're eventually right, but they email me every day about how the next day is going to be lower, and for a week at a time it'll be higher. Maybe eventually they're right, but I'm not exactly sure they're so worried about being right, but more interested in having an opinion. Don't know. Coursera. This is an online teaching video series, kind of like YouTube for special things like writing programs, a lot of different stuff. Not that had been that long that it's been out. 1336 on May 12th. With 1.5 million shares, with 666,000 shares yesterday. So not a lot going there. Again, just because these are testing on a lighter volume doesn't mean they're going higher, but it probably means with this lighter volume, they're not going lower. CRGY, which is, what is this company? CRGY, okay. Now, certainly we're getting back to where support is. December 22nd of 2021, this thing hit 1169 with 700,000 shares, tested it with 400,000 shares on January 24th of this year. Now we're back into it, got to $12 today, so we still have another 30 cents to go, but you know what? 150,000 shares so far, so not much in the way of volume. CRSR, what else? See. Okay. Got some emails here. Let's make sure. Okay. Yes, Nanex, the guy I was trying to think of on Tuesday when I was talking from John to Philadelphia. was from Nanex, and his name was Eric Hunsader. But if you want to look up exactly how all the shenanigans, especially from the flash crash on, war with high-frequency traders, just look up his name and his Twitter feed and everything else. But you have to give real credit to the guy. He became such a thorn in the side of those folks by exposing exactly what they did, that they bought his company to shut him up and green-mailed him out at a huge profit. But Eric Hunsader, we had him on the show a few times. But always interesting. His Twitter feed's probably still up. You can read it, I would imagine. Not too many people named Eric Hunsader. Delta Airlines, another one we have out here. For Delta Airlines, we have March 8th low, 29.75, 35 million shares. Back into it yesterday with 16 million shares, doing about 8 today. Now, I'm looking for ones that came off the highs also with lighter volume. This is not it. But certainly you're hitting these lows with lighter volume. If you don't get heavier volume in the next day or two next week, my guess is you're going to find that the lows are probably in with those airlines. Diebold, who I've had problems with their miserable ATMs here lately. So they probably have a justified low price, but maybe this is as bad as it gets before they get bought out or something. May 10th, you had $2.20 with 9 million shares. Yesterday came in with 2.5 million shares. So certainly you're not seeing volume actually increase on those. Denison Mines, again, some of these fairly interesting. 15 million shares at 98 cents on May 12th. Got into it with a little less than 10 million shares yesterday. Ford Motor Company. This one, I think that one on a short-term basis had kind of something that looked like a low. 80 million shares on June 17th. Yesterday, 59 million shares. We'll do that. Franco-Nevada, as we said, a lot of these precious metal companies out here have some fairly light volume. 1.1 million shares back on May 18th. You got into that yesterday with 700,000 shares. Today, only about 400,000 shares. But you've pulled back into the trading range. So there may be a little bit more to those metals come next Tuesday when we return. And if you have a stinky pet, there's apparently Fresh Pet. And the Fresh Pet of Bel Air, apparently. 1.7 million shares on May 12th at 53.09. Kind of got into it, but the volume was light. You got a little bit of a bounce. You pulled back in again, but the most you could get was 1 million shares yesterday. And if you get a close back in above 53.09, you're back into the trading range. So not quite there yet, but the Fresh Pet of the dog park. Remember that one. As I said, more gold stocks out here. We're looking for a close for Hecla back in about $4.06 or above. That had 13 million shares on May 12th. Yesterday, you got into it with 6.3 million shares, so half. Today, you're about the same volume. You popped down. You're at about 404. So you only need 2 cents for this to get back into the trading range. Again, volume is about the same on the way up, on the way down. So I kind of look for ones where the volume really fell out. It's more in a trading range, I think, than anything else. But my guess is that the risk reward probably not going to get any better than Tuesday when we come back in gold. Harsco, HSC is the symbol on this one. You had a 1.14 million share low on May 25th. You kind of fooled around, went sideways, not a lot of volume, had a little bit of a bounce on the way up. Yesterday, you tested that with less than half the volume, and now you're back almost in the trading range, I think. 772. Yeah, you're back in the... Nah, you need another nickel to get back into the trading range. But HSC, don't know much about that company. Okay. Yeah, back in a minute. 877-927-6648 if you're quick.
Vista Gold owns and operates the largest undeveloped gold project in Australia, the Mount Todd Gold Project. Vista Gold just completed their feasibility study, resulting in a 7 million ounce gold reserve. Vista Gold has all major permits approved and has retained CIBC capital market assistance in evaluating alternatives and in completing an accretive transaction. Vista Gold trades on the NYSE American and TSX under the ticker symbol VGZ. Vista Gold, executing a strategy to create shareholder value.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has just launched their July 4th Tiger Dollar sale. For 1 week only, we've doubled all the bonuses, where you can now get up to 20, 30, or even a 40% bonus on your Tiger Dollar purchase. Tiger Dollars are good on all TFNN newsletters, webinars, and trading services, and they never expire. For all the details and to get your Tiger Dollars before the sale ends Tuesday, July 5th, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we return, got a quick question from John in Philadelphia. You'll see on Micron. And, you have a lot of volume here, but it doesn't look like this thing's going to get washed out today. 34 million shares, maybe selling climax out here. Close at 53.80. All you need is 53.60, so you're still in the trading range. This may just be a washout on the news. Of course, they came out with some downbeat forecasts, but I'm going to tell you that this is a cyclical market. And one of the biggest changes I think we're going to see over the next year and a half is a massive upgrade cycle, not on faster processors, but on faster memory and more lanes to that memory. If you want to think about, I wrote about it last week, the Tech Insider, and that's bandwidth and just how incredibly more fast that computers are going to get with hard drives and memory, which are the two slowest things for a regular PC, is getting stuff off of hard drives, and that's really improved with SSDs and RAIDs and other stuff. But just getting stuff out of memory and being able to access memory at higher data rates and more lanes to the processor. But all that stuff is, I can't say that the processor companies are going to make are really having to extend themselves that much. It's the motherboard manufacturers and RAM manufacturers are all going to be replacing this memory over the next, I'm going to say year and a half. I think there's a big upgrade cycle coming, and that happens with video cards too. But it's going to be, they're not shipping those things till September. So, yeah, I'm not really surprised that they're having a lull now. I guess they're going to have a fairly good fall for the stock price. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here Tuesday.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible.